Wastage of public funds and resources in the counties remains the dark underside of the devolution story. From one county government to another, there are projects that were started 8 years ago and are yet to be completed. The change of leadership in some counties is partly to blame, and the other reasons are corruption, nepotism, and poor management of oversight roles. After coming into office in 2013, the first governor of West Pokot, Simon Kachapin, together with members of the county assembly, approved the construction of an ultra-modern assembly chambers and office plaza right opposite the current chambers. Believe it or not, this huge building has not been completed. In fact, it is not even near 50% completion.
You know, when you are signing a contract has a lifespan. It means you should have the money to do the job, and the material is going to be done. So most of the projects were done that time with no finishing date. Like I came in this county and found some projects were worth 500 million, for example, but the available funds is 30 million. But the project was signed for. What it entailed for signing to be done, nobody knows.
And so the governor is right. I think it's time to review such kind of a project. Going forward, I think it's not prudent for any governor to enter into a 30-year period when you know your term is 5 or 10 years.
Lakini stall project hizi serikali kumwona hawajafata. Angalia nyumba ambayo iko nyuma yetu hapa. Nyumba hii ambayo ni agriculture. Hajafanyika mpaka sasa hii. Why? Kwa sababu pesa ilifuchwa na ilienda mali ingine.
Kwanza hizo projects ziliwekwa pesa nyingi ambazo zilipita kiwango ambayo ilikuwa inatakana.
Governor Lonyangapuo, who ousted Kachapin, says the agreement with the contractor to put up the new county assembly chambers and offices was a mess.
The national government looked like they were not ready for counties. So when the counties came, instead of them coming to assist counties to stop that, the 5 years were wasted in allowing grand plans and grand dreams to be deposited.
Since he took office, Lonyangapuo has invited the Auditor General to inspect the work done and the contract before putting in more funds to complete the building. Inspection is yet to be done, and a general election is not too far away.
Some governors have never worked in senior positions and position of responsibility before, decided to listen to every Tom, Dick and Harry about development. Then they did a lot of brilliant drawings without money.
This is the governor's residence in West Pokot. Construction of this house was started during Kachapin's leadership. The house has so far cost 142 million shillings, according to Governor Lonyangapuo. He has declined to put in a single cent to continue with the construction. Today, Lonyangapuo only prides himself mainly with this: the establishment of peace schools in the area, which was prone to cattle rustling and tribal wars. 5 years ago, Kanyarus area used to experience fighting between the Pokot and the Sebei communities. But Governor Lonyangapuo says establishing a school that brought children from both communities together has brought peace.
Kwa saizi kwa amani mzuri sana, kwa maana shule ndivyo ilikuja na tagamana mzuri, hakuna mambo ya vita.
And the first thing we did was to apologize to one another. We apologized, and I told them the school we are building is like we are saying sorry.
Several years ago, this area called Riting in Takwel Gorge in the county of West Pokot would not be as peaceful as it is right now. Gunfire would have been renting the air day and night as cattle raiders, both from the Pokot area as well as Turkana, would have been engaging here in fierce gun battle.
Establishment of peace schools is also aimed at tackling the high levels of illiteracy in the area. Areas around the Takwel Gorge also experience insecurity week in, week out. Turkana warriors and their Pokot counterparts have killed each other here for several years. Along this highway, livestock was hardly seen. These small sleepy centers had been abandoned for quite a while, and sounds of gunshots used to rent the air. But today, this area is extremely peaceful, thanks to fishing activities that brought both the Turkana and Pokot communities together.
Wakati sasa amani imekuja hivi, vitu mingi ikawa ikaingia.
Ukiona hapa zamani haukuwa na hoteli nini ya kukula yoyote, hata magari ya kupita hivi.
Watoto sasa wanaanza kwenda shule kwa sababu zamani ilikuwa haendi shule kwa sababu ya pita.
This is the farthest and shallowest area of the Takwel Dam, where fishing activities are taking place. The locals have been provided with fingerlings by the county government so that fish stock is replenished and communities remain busy. Fishmongers here are constantly selling between 200 to 300 fried fish to visitors.
Saizi kwa sababu idadi ya maji vile iliongezeka, samaki ilisambaa kianda imeingia ndani. Unasapata idadi ya samaki kwa wiki, unasapata kama 10,000 hapo.
Most customers here are school-going children who come here for field trips that had previously been cancelled because of insecurity. Sports development has also been some of the county's invest in the construction of stadiums. Kisii Stadium has been rehabilitated not once but twice. Before the Mashujaa celebrations in the year 2020, the stadium was in poor shape. The Mashujaa celebrations saw the national government and county government spend millions of shillings to upgrade it. New stands were erected, as well as a new pavilion. The playing surface got new grass ahead of the 20th October 2020 celebrations. A year later, and Kisii International Stadium is undergoing rehabilitation yet again. Governor Ongwae, who took me around the stadium, says he wants to raise the stadium to international standards.
Governor, for people who are probably going to argue that during Mashujaa Day the stadium was complete, why they need to redo it again? Would some argue that maybe it's wastage of
No. There was no tartan track.
Yes.
If we want people to run here,
yes,
you have to have a tartan track. That's what we are putting. So there is no wastage here. Then also you remember the field itself was soggy.
Yes.
Because it was uneven. So they have evened up the field. Also the field, the football field was not to KFF's standards.
The entire lawn has been removed and the county wants to replace it with artificial turf. A tartan track has also been imported and will soon be laid out.
Because when I came in there was no stadium. But we now have a stadium that is to international capacity.
Works on the pavilion are being redone. The offices at the back of the pavilion resemble government offices in Nairobi, complete with red carpets and new furniture. Deputy President William Ruto and even former Prime Minister Raila Odinga each occupied a separate VIP room during the Mashujaa celebrations. But the rehabilitation has not come cheap. Since the glory days of Naftali Temu, Kisii has not produced many athletes. Helen Obiri is perhaps the most elite athlete to have come from Kisii in the recent years.
Nimrod, this is for visitors who are
VIP,
coming.
yeah?
VIP, but this is not VVIP, this is just VIP.
Okay.
I'm going to show you VIP.
Yeah.
We're off to Manga area in the neighboring Nyamira County. This is Manga area in the county of Nyamira. It's a bit chilly right now, even though it's sunny. We're standing at the highest point in this area called Manga. It's anywhere between 1,500 or even 3,000 feet above sea level. We're here to talk to the locals about the importance of development being carried out by the Nyamira County government. The roads, however, are somewhat impassable, but we understand there's a stadium being built almost 30 meters from here. The old structures were destroyed once contract agreements were signed. We found workers busy planting grass. Others are working on the main pavilion. On the pitch, automatic water sprinklers have been installed. The playing surface is already an impressive piece of work.
We wanted as a county to have a modern stadium where we'll have various sports activities to be done, not just locally, but to attract sportsmen and women across the country.
But the cost of building the stadium is mind-boggling. So far, the perimeter wall has exhausted over 63 million shillings. The pavilion and other works have cost Nyamira County 103 million shillings, In total, 166 million shillings have been sunk into this project.
We have not done the swimming pool, we have not done the basketball beach, the volleyball beach and the other facilities. So eventually the amount will go much higher.
Outside the stadium is a sleepy shopping center called Manga. The residents here argue resources being used at the stadium could have been put into other use.
Hapa Manga tukipata courage yoyote ndio saa zingine itainua.
Hatujawahi kuona kitu kama hiyo. Hatujawahi kukaa nao watuelezee project tutafanya nini.
While the director of culture at the county of Nyamira says the stadium will be used by people from Kisii, the Kisii county government also says its stadium will be used by people from the neighboring Nyamira.
This facility will also be used by people from Kisii. Kisii is a heavily congested town.
The gene of running, gene of sporting is more in Nyamira, not even in Kisii County.
Most people do not know it, but that the first Olympic gold medal was actually from the Gusii region. Naftali Temu in the 1968 Mexico Olympics.
This is the road that leads to Manga Stadium. Locals say while building the stadium, the county ought to build the road too.
Shida kubwa sana ni rami. Lakini tukipata rami, hata hiyo stadium yetu tutaweza kuwa na matarajio mazuri sana.
Tuseme kama natoka huko Esaba, kuna mahali ni Esaba huko, na kuja stadium huko Manga. Kumenyesha, nitapita namna gani nifike huko?
Tunakuja hapa, tunatembea huku kutoka mahali tunatoka, tunapata rami hakuna, stadium sawa, tunakubaki stadium huko. But sasa barabara je, utapita wapi? Hata iwe ukiwa na gari yako, hata uko na gari yako umekuja hapa sasa. Umeona barabara imeharibika. Mvua sasa ingenyesha ungepita.
In the neighboring county of Homa Bay, the stadium's pavilion catches the eye of visitors to the headquarters. The huge structure made of concrete and steel bars has been built for several years now. 2018 is the year work began here, and it is not anywhere near completion. Governor Cyprian Awiti, who has led this county for 2 terms, might leave office in August next year without seeing the conclusion of this project. We could not reach Governor Awiti for answers as to why the project is delayed. Nonetheless, the contractor is still on site. If Kisii, Nyamira and Homa Bay are unable to utilize the stadiums fully, will that be considered a waste of public resources?
This facility is not for just sports. It is also for social events. For example, we'll have people hiring this place for weddings.
First of all, sport is a big industry now. We'll have talents being identified at the stadium because we'll have matches being played here. And the stadium alone will also generate income to the county government. So even if you are talking about on-source revenue, we'll still be able to get more money through the stadium. We'll be able to watch big teams like Gor Mahia, AFC coming to play in Homa Bay.
The law empowers them to work on an economic, regional economic blocks. A lot is in their favor. The law is there, the attendance support is there. It just depends on the personal relationship of those counties.
At the onset of devolution, neighboring county governments established regional economic blocks, which were launched with pomp and fanfare. But after the launch, the counties appear to have abandoned that cause. Could this be the reason why counties are replicating same projects that could easily have been in one county, and the costs of building and maintaining the projects are cost shared? Revenue collection remains a huge challenge for all the counties we visited. Apart from collecting levies from businessmen, licenses, charges from amambogas at the markets, hawkers and border operators, counties are not collecting any monies from projects that have been put up. Homa Bay generated 118 million shillings in the financial year 2018 to 2019, compared to 109 million shillings the previous year. But 118 million shillings is a mere drop compared to 6.9 billion shillings the county received from the Treasury in the financial year of 2019-2020. Since 2013, Homa Bay has received more than 42 billion shillings from the Treasury. Kisii County only collected 333 million shillings as revenue and failed to reach its target by more than 50%. Kisii has received slightly more than 54 billion shillings since 2013 from Treasury.
Doesn't make sense why we should be constructing one, we should be dealing with one project that can, within one year you can complete, but then it drags on for 20 years or even more. It's not right, and it's not a good use of money. For us in the county government, it's a challenge, especially revenue collection, because we are dealing with collection of revenue from sources that relate to Mama Mboga.
But the biggest misgiving when it comes to managing county resources is a huge wage bill that comes from having a big workforce at the county. It has been reported that counties use anywhere between 40% and 60% of money disbursed by Treasury to cater for the recurrent expenditure. Counties had to absorb all employees of the former local governments as well as municipal councils. And because some had no qualifications to carry out duties like drafting road maps for development projects, county heads went on to hire specialized workforce. Qualification was a priority. So far, none of the counties we've visited has been able to effectively manage the recurrent expenditure. According to the Auditor General's report on counties for the year ended 30th June 2019, in West Pokot, the county executive awarded the construction of County Commissioner's office block to a local firm at a cost of 68 million shillings. The contract was to be completed within 52 weeks, effective June 2018. Review of the County Integrated Development Plan revealed that management did not include the project in the County Integrated Development Plan, also known as CIDP, as required by Section 125(1) of Public Finance Management Act 2012. Further, physical verification of the project in November 2019 revealed that the works had stalled and the contractor was not on site. The project is clearly behind schedule and there was no evidence of an approval of an extension of contract period. The county executive also paid an amount of more than 64 million shillings for the purchase of specialized plant, equipment and machinery, which includes 30 million shillings relating to procurement of lightning arresters. However, the tender was awarded to the highest bidder on the strength that the lowest bidder missed some requisite documentations, even though the referred missing documentation were confirmed by the audit team to have been part of the bid documents. Consequently, management was in breach of law. In Trans Nzoia, the Office of the Auditor General noted that there was irregular spending of county-owned generated revenue. The county collected a total of 372 million shillings as revenue at the end of 30th June 2019. Out of this money, more than 156 million shillings was collected from public health facilities. However, examination of revenue records indicated that actual transfers to the county revenue fund from health facilities during the year totaled 125 million shillings, resulting to underbanking of more than 30 million shillings, contrary to Section 109(2) of the Public Finance Management Act. In the agricultural sector development support program, the statement of receipts and payments reflects donor funds released through exchequer releases totaling over 570 million shillings. But during the year under review, the county executive of Trans Nzoia received over 7 million shillings from the agricultural sector development support program and reported a cumulative expenditure budget on the program totaling over 30 million shillings over 2 financial years ending 30 June 2019. However, the county executive did not disburse the sum of 7 million shillings received from donors to ASDSP projects during the year under review. In 2019, the county executive spent 77 million shillings on the purchase of specialized plant, equipment and machinery, which in turn included plant and machinery costing 18 million shillings procured by the Department of Agriculture from a local dealer. However, important records on the procurement, including requisitions from the user department, the tender evaluation report, inspection and acceptance minutes, mechanical inspection report, and contract documents were not presented for audit review. On health, Expenditures totaling 109 million shillings were incurred on various building projects. Among these were 5 projects implemented by the Department of Health at an aggregate cost of 13 million shillings. However, the projects stalled at various stages of completion and were thereafter abandoned by the respective contractors. In Nyamira, the Department of Transport, Roads and Public Works had a development budget of 606 million shillings during the year, while the actual expenditure was 428 million shillings, or 71% of the approved budget. However, a report of the Auditor General on the County Executive of Nyamira for the year ended 30th June 2019, review of the operations of the department revealed that some programs worth 80 million shillings were implemented, but not in the approved budget. In Kisii, the audited reports revealed that in the year ended 30th June 2019, the Department for Trade paid 11 million shillings for the construction of market sheds in various market centres. However, physical verification of the market sheds conducted during the month of October 2019 revealed that the market sheds, though paid for fully, had not been put to use. The markets include Sengera, Yesieka, Nyanturago, Raganga and Matongo. The total amount spent for completing the sheds was 11 million shillings. In Samburu, several of the balances reflected in the financial statements differ with identical account balances reflected in the Integrated Financial Management Information System ledgers as at 30th June 2019. Also noted was the unexplained compensation of employees' expenditure. The statement of receipts and payments reflects compensation of employees' expenditure totaling over 260 million shillings as disclosed in the financial statements. However, the aggregate expenditure reflected in the payroll for the year amounts to 199 million shillings, resulting in an unexplained variance of over 66 million shillings. In Homa Bay, the OAG noted that the financial statements, the statement of receipts, the payment reflects acquisition of assets of over 1 billion shillings. A review of records indicated that the management entered into a contract to undertake several projects across the county. However, physical verification in September 2019 revealed the following unsatisfactory observations. Some projects have already been paid for and money spent, but implementation of the projects has not been done, according to an inspection done by the OAG. Most projects that have failed to take off are road construction projects. Others are ECD classrooms, which were earmarked for construction, but there is nothing to show on the ground. In Baringo, the county executive operates a staggering 192 commercial bank accounts that it uses to disburse funds to dispensaries. However, the closing balances held in the accounts have not been incorporated in the financial statements. In addition, when the audit sought to confirm the balances, the respective banks did not respond to the circularization letters. In the absence of sufficient and reliable information, the accuracy of the cash and cash equivalents balance totaling over 2 billion shillings reflected in the statement of assets and liabilities as at 30th June 2019 has not been confirmed. Under collection of revenue, the summary statement of appreciation, recurrent and development combined for the year ended 30th June 2019 reflects final county-owned generated receipts budgets and actuals on comparable basis amounting to over 371 million shillings and over 350 million shillings respectively, resulting in under collections amounting to over 11 million shillings or 3% of the budget. There was also irregular payments to the Council of Governors, which was reported in the financial statement as other operating expenses. The county paid 5 million shillings to the Council of Governors, being the county's contribution in offsetting the council's expenses. However, the payment contravened Section 37 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act 2012, which states that all operational expenses of the Council of Governors shall be met by the national government. The project implementation status report provided for audit reflected 28 projects that were at the varying stages of completion, but only 7 out of 26 completed projects were in use. The remainder 19 were not put to use, whereas 2 others behind their scheduled completion dates. The audit report noted, therefore, that the residents of Baringo have not received any value for the funds totaling over 79 million shillings invested in the completed but unused projects. The governors who have served 2 terms say heading the counties has been a humbling experience, especially when matters of corruption arose. But their only regret would be to leave office before most of the projects are completed. For those leaving office after August 2022, being an ordinary private citizen awaits. There will be no more stopping of traffic for them to pass. No more early morning briefings and appointments. No more official trips abroad for benchmarking. No more privileges. It will just be a normal life.
I'll walk home a very proud leader, having had my second terms, of course, with challenges along the road.
The governor who is coming in is not coming in as a person, he's coming into a system. So he should be able to continue with some of the things that I started.
People in the future come to understand that if they didn't have a facility like this over 50 years, we had done a great job in trying to deliver a facility like this within 10 years. And that's what people need to appreciate.
For those who have only served for 5 years since 2017, failing to complete the stalled projects would put them at loggerheads with voters.
We are not doing things for elections, specifically. We are doing things for the people. If people see we are doing well, they can re-elect us. If they have an alternative, they have a choice. You can't force people.
All in all, our journey returned a verdict that devolution is making a difference around the country, despite the attendant challenges that include wastage of resources and weak accountability structures. Nimro Tabu, Citizen TV.